everyone. Once again, welcome to the Ask Grandpa Show, the place where wisdom meets your life. My name is Zion, and I'm your host. We sit down every week with Grandpa himself, Mr. President herself, to talk about things that truly matters. Today's topic is a huge one, manhood. But before we dive into that, as we always do, I would like Grandpa to tell us more about who he is. Grandpa.
Good afternoon. My name is Preston Nasir. I guess I'm a man who's been around a while, who's got various unique type of education, not only in the corporate world, but also in the, we'll say, non-corporate world in life itself. And I've learned some things and I'm just trying to share. That's all.
Thank you so much for always giving us the opportunity to sit with you and have these discussions with you. So today's topic is a huge one, manhood.
Okay.
And my first question will be, what is the difference between being a man and manhood?
Well, manhood is like a institution, I guess, like childhood or infanthood, or the hood makes it like an institution. It makes it like we'll say a group thing. Being a man is more individual. You know, then now we're talking about the individual person or state of being or the identity of an individual, put it that way.
Okay. All right. Then my second question will be, can someone be called a man but still lack manhood?
Of course. You can call anybody anything. But the question is, are you saying is the person calling himself a man, but yet not
Having possessing the qualities of being.
Yeah, people do it all the time. I mean, we do it because we don't know any better. You know, we've been taught, we have our as a people, our manhood has been stripped away from us because your manhood starts with your knowledge of God and with your natural being. You see, example, like, you take an animal, example, take a cow. A cow is created by the Creator and has a certain nature. And if you leave it alone, it'll do whatever is in its nature to do. The same thing with any other animal or being. If you leave it alone and let it grow within the natural with the natural information that's within its DNA, it'll be what it is at the end. Except us, as men, we've been altered. We're kind of like, if you take a lion, for example, and you raise him from a cub in a house or in a zoo, he'll still be a lion, but he won't know how to be a lion. He won't know how to hunt. He won't know how to provide for himself. He won't know how to mate. He won't know any of those things. You see? Although, yeah, he's a lion, but he's not able to function as one. And what we're talking about here with us is function. You see? We're unless we've been taught specifically, we have been we'll say deprived of that natural growth that is ours from the beginning, or was ours from the beginning.
As men.
As men. You see? When you look at things like, what's the difference between, we'll say, a man and a boy? We'll say. A boy can do everything a man can do, except two things. One is he can't provide for himself. and he can't defend himself against other men. You see?
Yeah.
Now, if you look at us as people, as black men, we're not providing for ourselves. We're constantly going to somebody else to do something for us, to provide for us, to do something for us. You see? That's not man.
Okay.
We're in the position that we're in because we're not able to defend ourselves against the other men who are in power. You see?
Yeah.
So we can do all the things that boys can do, but we've been prohibited and taken out of so that we can't do things that men can do. Take care of themselves and provide for themselves and defend themselves against other men. You see, due to slavery and colonization, we've lost that. Our manhood has been severely impaired, put it that way. And we're walking around trying to regain that because we know within ourselves, within our DNA, that we should not be in the position that we're in.
Yeah. Okay.
You see? We should not be in this position. But we're not in this position, but we're in this position because we lack power. We lack power. And one of the major tenets of power is knowledge. Knowledge is power. But when they remove our knowledge from us, that's how they remove the power. They remove the knowledge of our religion. They remove the knowledge of our God. They remove the knowledge of how to do business. All that knowledge has been removed from us and replaced with what they want us to have, which is not good for us.
Grandpa, we say all these things were done to us because they want to keep us like this.
Yeah, if you want a person to be a slave, meaning to do whatever you want them to do, you can't give them power. Right?
Yeah.
How are you going to save a man who's got as much power as you do? Who's got as much wisdom as you do? You can't enslave a man like that.
So then they have to take away our manhood from us.
Exactly.
Okay.
See, and it was done very systematically. And not only that, it's still being done through the society, social media, things like that. You see, there's a process even before social media and during slavery. When white people or the colonizers or enslavers saw any young male who came up, who started acting like he was growing into manhood and started showing any kind of strength, they would either beat him down. If they couldn't beat him down, they would kill him. You see? Now, so the women see that if the seed was going to survive, they had to make it so that the young males did not jump up against the colonizer or against the slave master. You see?
Yeah.
So in essence, they realized that in order for the seed to survive, for us to survive as males, they had to take away or prevent us from becoming men.
Wow.
You see?
Yeah.
And one of the major things that was done was, like in the U.S., I know, there's something, and it still goes on, there's something called spoiling. When a young male is born, a lot of times the women fight over who's going to spoil him, because they know that whoever spoils him, that's who he's going to belong to.
Wow.
You see? Now, the process of spoiling is when the child is born, he's a young male, they carry him around all the time. They carry him around, they put him on the back, they carry him in arms. He's carried around that person carries him around all the time. Until the child gets to the point where every time she tries to put him down, he starts crying. You see? And the reason why he's crying is because he's in pain. You see? He's in emotional pain. He feels separated now. He was a part of something more and something loving. Now all of a sudden he's over there. He's away from that. And he's in pain and he's crying. So they go and pick him up again. Now once they see that he does that, that's when I got you.
Okay.
You said?
Yeah.
They will once that happens, he's considered spoiled. Now spoiled, when something's spoiled, that doesn't mean it's not any good. It's just not good for its intended purpose.
Okay.
You see?
Mm-hmm.
Like a piece of meat or something.
Yeah.
You know? It's spoiled, but the cats can eat it, the dogs can eat it. You can make fertilizer out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You see, it has a purpose.
Yeah.
It's good, but it's not good for its intended
Yeah.
purpose, which was for human consumption.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
Now, if you look at one of the major things that males or men are supposed to be able to do is to pick their own direction and maintain their direction until whatever they want becomes a reality. You see?
Yeah.
They call it, you guys always gotta have your way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have to have our way because our way is the way because that's our nature.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And our way naturally is to take care of our families, to take care of our children, to take care and protect our women. That's our way. Yeah, we want our way. You see? But in order for us to get our way, we have to overcome the obstacles that are there. And during colonization and slavery, that obstacle that's going to stop you from taking care of your family and protecting your woman and protecting your family is the colonizer or the white man. You see?
Yeah.
So to keep us from going in that direction, the women say, oh no, we can't allow him to do that. He will be killed. You see?
Yeah.
Or beaten within an inch of his life.
Mm-hmm.
And broken anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So out of their love for us, they had to spoil us.
Okay.
You see?
Yeah.
But now colonization and slavery has gotten to a point where we can find a way, okay, to get back in that position.
Mm-hmm.
But certain things have become, what do you call it, subconscious. Whereas a lot of times our women or our people don't know why they're doing what they're doing. It's just a habit. You know, it's like sometimes you'll want to do something, or you see a young man wants to do something, and then even the other men will say, "Oh no, man, you can't do that, man.
Yeah.
Man, those guys, man, they ain't gonna let you do that.
That's true.
They're not gonna let you do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that." You know.
Mm-hmm.
So they right away they discourage you because they've already been broken, and they don't want to see you go out there and get broken. So everybody stays in this one little bubble,
Mm-hmm.
and we stay here, and the colonizer's happy, and the slave master's happy. You see?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this is a it's a terrible situation for us,
Wow.
but it's a good situation for everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
See, nobody on this planet wants to see the black man become a man. Nobody. It's to nobody's advantage. It's not to the Japanese advantage, to the Chinese advantage, the white man, the French. Nobody, because everybody eats off of us. Everybody eats off of us. You see? That's why they're here. That's why they're in America. If you go to America and you go and you see who owns all the stores and who owns all the restaurants, it's not us, it's them. So they don't want to see us opening our own stores and our own restaurants. How are they going to get their money? You see?
Yeah.
If we start talking about we want to nationalize our own resources and we want to build our own factories, oh no, you. What do they do now? They kill you for that, right? Isn't that what they've been doing? Mm-hmm. Anybody who steps up and says, I want to take care of my people. I want my people to have what everybody else has. Oh yeah, you can last for a minute, but then what? Here comes the death squad, the murder squad. They get the other black people to kill you. And there's always another black person who comes and kills you. It's not the white man. It's the one who they send, who they've already indoctrinated.
So will you say our women were doing that to us for our own protection?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
See, and what we don't look at is how that's still in play today.
Mm.
Okay, now your woman, a lot of times, who's still got that same mentality, who doesn't understand that it's time for us to rise. Mm-hmm. She doesn't understand that she should not put you in a situation where you're so emotionally hurt and distracted that you can't do what it is that you want to do with your talents and with your life. You said?
Yeah. So with what you just said, that means it didn't just affect us as men, it also affected them. Because now they are subconsciously working towards that even without knowing.
Right. Because we start doing, once a person is taught something, especially by an elder. Just give you an example of a woman who was telling people that her mother always said that nobody could ever put their hat on the bed. You see? And she was saying that she would never allow anybody to put their hat on the bed. And when she asked her mother why, she didn't know. You know? He said, well, nobody knows. You know, we just know that we can't put our hat on the bed.
Wow.
So she did some research on it, right? And she found out that years ago, people had headlights, okay? And when you had headlights and you put the hat on the bed, the lights would go onto the bed. You see? Mm-hmm. So, but now people don't have headlights, but still people are saying you can't put your hat on the bed.
Wow.
You see? Mm-hmm. Now, I'm just saying that to say that's how we get caught up in things, and we take things and we don't understand where they came from.
Yeah.
We just do it. Mm-hmm. I've heard my mother tell my sister concerning her husband, mm-hmm. because her husband wanted, I forget exactly what it is he wanted to do, but it was not a negative thing. She would say, you can't let him do that. Don't allow him to do that. Now this is my mother telling my sister that she can't allow her husband to do something. What put her in the position so that she can say he can't be allowed to do that? What gave her the power to turn him from one action to another? Because evidently she knew she had it and that she could do it because her mother told her, don't let him do that.
Yeah.
You see? Mm-hmm. How can he then express his manhood? If you look at the symbol for manhood, it's a circle, mm-hmm. which represents God, and an arrow, which represents direction. You see?
Wow. Yeah.
If you shoot an arrow is supposed to go to its mark. Mm-hmm. You see? Mm-hmm. Everything that's that's male is supposed to have direction. See? Yeah. If you look at just look at it on a scientific level, you've got masculine principle and you got a feminine principle. Okay? The masculine principle is always conscious and directive. You see? It's always conscious and directive. The feminine principle is always receptive and creative. You see?
All right.
Everything that's, say they say Mother Earth. Mother Earth accepts a seed and will reproduce the likeness of that seed. Nobody knows how it's done. It's if you put the seed in the ground in the right situation, the earth will produce a flower fruit, a plant, or whatever it is that you plant, whatever is in the seed. You see? So it's receptive and it's creative. You see?
Okay.
The farmer is the masculine one. He decides, it's the masculine that's what's in the seed decides what the earth is going to reproduce. You see? So the seed is masculine to the soil. It decides that this is going to be a lemon tree, apple tree, watermelon, whatever's in the seed.
Nothing can change about that.
Right. And it's the male that carries the seed.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
So, all these things have to do with being in the natural order of things, which is coming back to what we say being a man is not necessarily someone who's overbearing or who's cruel or evil or necessarily even powerful and strong in a physical way. You see? We're talking about mental and spiritual manhood. We're talking about a person who can have an idea, okay, a seed thought, and be able to make that seed thought a reality. You see? So, and the other thing is on a natural level, on the spiritual level, okay, we have to understand that no man is all man, and no woman is all woman. We're a combination of women, all of us, because we all come from an egg, and we all come from a sperm. So we're all male and female in our being. So we all are conscious and directive, and we all are creative and receptive. It's just that when we're males, we have, I'll just put a ratio on it. We'll say 51% male and 49% female. Women are, I'll say, 51% female, 49% male. If you look at a woman as a womb man, she's a man with a womb.
Yeah.
You see, we overlook that simple fact. You said, she's a man with a womb. So therefore, she thinks and wants and desires like a man can, but men have different responsibilities towards womb men. Because womb men have a job in the society, and men have a job in the society. If a womb's job is to reproduce and take care of and nurture young, then the man's job has got to be to protect her and the young while she's in that position. You can't expect her to be 6 months pregnant and go hunting and out there in the field working hard. You see, you can't expect that. But she has to eat every day. She needs water. That's our job. And the Quran says men are maintainers of women.
Wow.
You see?
Yeah.
We are maintainers of women. Why? Because if we don't maintain them, they can't reproduce, which is what the Creator wants. We all have different jobs. You see?
Yeah. Grandpa, you made mention of slavery. Do you think it's played part in this chaos that is happening?
It's at the root of it. It ain't playing a part. We still in slavery, man. That's what I'm trying to tell you. We're still in slavery and we're still colonized. They're trying to make you think that you're not, but you are, because they let you walk around the street and have a cell phone and go to and play videos that you're free. You're not. You can't decide what you want to do. Why is such a big thing now just because Traore is saying that we want to do what we want to do with our gold and our tomatoes? Why? Because he's a man now. He's saying what he wants to do with his own stuff. He said, now everybody wants to come after him now. They didn't want to come after him anyway. Not only what happened to Lumumba and Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and Najma, what happened to all of them? These were all men who said, I want to take care of my people. I want to protect my women. I want my people to live and grow and prosper. They were all killed for the same reason. Why? Because their powers that we don't want that to happen. We're still colonized. Even right now, Muhammad is trying to nationalize the gold as much as possible. We can't do because what, England came after him, France came after him, even the Chinese came after him. You see, for one to get a better percentage, not to take all the gold, but to move from 5% to 12%. You see what I'm saying? You mean you own a commodity and you can't get 12% profit off of it? How much profit are they going to get?
So the masters don't want us to be men.
No. Why would they? That's counterproductive.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying, man. This is a problem. Nobody wants us to be men. Half of the men don't want us to be men. You know what I'm saying? This is an issue, man.
Wow.
Right now, if you go to America, I don't know how many see it, but I know in America, if you go in America in a room where there's males and females in that room, and you stand up and say, I am a man, I bet you 90% of the people in that room will jump on you.
Wow.
Just for saying you're a man. Just for saying it.
Wow.
Because if you are a man, especially a strong man, you are going to want to create your own world.
Yeah.
If you are a man who's spiritual in your being and you want to be in tune with the Creator, that means that you're looking to bring in a world that God wants. You understand?
Yeah.
So if you are among of people who have been against God the whole time, and now you are going and saying you want to bring in the world that God wants, you are an enemy.
Yeah. So the fight is just against God.
Exactly.
Wow. Papa, my next question will be this is a whole different level. So my next question will be, what do you think are the biggest difference between how men behave in the past and how they behave today?
Well, it depends on how far back you want to go. If you just go into slavery, okay, then not much, because we were slaves for 400-something years. Okay, we're still in that same frame of mind. But if you go back before slavery, before,
so I think before, let's take it from before slavery, and then
before slavery, we ruled this planet. We created medicine. We had libraries right here in Mali, in Timbuktu. I mean, that Timbuktu was the learning place of the world. People came from all over the world to stay in Timbuktu.
as black men.
White men, everybody came here to study. You see?
Yeah.
Because this was the learning capital of the world. Before slavery, the Moors ruled Europe for 800 years. They were under our rule for 800 years. Europe was, okay? We're the ones who taught them how to read, how to write, we taught them about medicine, we taught them about science, astronomy, all of that. We taught them all of that. You understand?
Yeah.
They didn't know any of that. We taught them that. They were dying of starve. They didn't even know that you shouldn't live in a house with animals. You see? All this is documented history. This is not me talking. This is all documented history that you can go and find. You see? Mm-hmm. This is in books. This is in library. In fact, you got the best tool in the world. You can ask AI. You can ask Google. You know? It's right there. The pictures and everything. It comes right up. You see? Mm-hmm. We're the ones who created the I Ching. We're the ones who do you know that even the Japanese, man, the Japanese samurai, they were supposed to be some of the best warriors in the world. Do you know that they say that whole, well, not saying, but they trace back, that whole system is traced back to a black man?
Really?
Yeah, that they built that whole system based on one black man's character. And then they said a samurai could not be a true warrior unless he had at least one drop of black blood in him. He couldn't even be a true warrior without having some black blood. Wow. But see, this is all documented, man. You see? Mm-hmm. This is all documented. This is not me talking. This is in books. This is, you know, like, this is like I said, we got the best tools in the world now. Mm-hmm. Just ask Google. As they got, you know, it's all there. But they got us looking over here when we should be looking over here.
Mm-hmm. So, Grandpa, when you say men today, we are not paying more attention to our history and the people that we were.
We're not paying attention because we're not taught who we were. The education that we got was, we were educated by the slave master and by the colonizer. Why would they teach us who we were? You see?
Okay.
They taught us a version of us that they wanted us to believe who we are.
Wow.
You see? We think we're them. The average black person who's, let's face it, if you've been taught from the beginning that you were a particular way or a particular thing, or that you didn't have any history, and that your way of natural way of life is being an animal, and that they're the ones who civilized, and they're the ones who have everything. If we're taught and we believe that, what else, and nobody else told us anything different, how can we act any differently? Because you can only act based on what you know.
Yeah.
That's why I keep saying that history is extremely important. If we're going to regain our manhood, we have to know who we are, who we were before all of this. Because during slavery, it was against the law for any person to teach you how to read. If they knew that a slave could read and write, they'd kill him. Yeah. Any white person who taught a slave to read and write, they would kill them as well. You see? Yeah. Because they knew once you could read, you could find your history. And once that happened, it would be over for them. But they told us not to even want to read. There's a saying in the U.S., man, that says, if you want to hide something from a black man, put it in a thick book.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's not going to read it.
Mm-hmm.
You put it in a thick book. My granddaughter was over the house one day, and I gave her a couple of dollars. You know, kids money. And she said, Grandpa, I don't have any pockets. So I always had a Bible and a Quran on the mantelpiece. So I said, give me the money, baby. I put it in the Quran. I had an old Quran. It was like this thick. So I said, I'm going to put it in this book right here. I said, so what, Grandpa's going to take it? I said, anybody going to take it? So I put it in the Quran, and at the end of the day, maybe 6 or 7 hours later, we went back. Well, Grandpa, you take my money still? I said, I know it's there. So I gave it to her. You know, nobody was going to look in that book. I could have put 20 pounds of gold in that book, man. It would have been there. It would have been there at the end of the day. 1,000 people could have walked in and out of the house. Nobody's going to touch that book. It's programming, man.
Yeah.
We're programmed up.
Will you say these things also affect the white man's world?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And that's the reason why this is at the root of his world coming apart now. Because he's taught his children that they were superior to us. All right?
Okay.
And then they had to allow us over time to compete with them. Okay? And every time they compete with us, they can't win. So how can you be superior to somebody and every time you compete with them, you can't win? You see? So now, that's the reason why they didn't want us to be football players. They didn't want us to be basketball. But we weren't allowed to play those sports for a long time. You see? But then once black people started being able to play, we started dominating everything.
Yeah.
We dominated every sport. Track and field, basketball, what you name it, whatever. Not only that, when they allowed us in the military, we showed we were the best soldiers that you could even imagine. If you look at some of the things that black people have done during the First World War, Second World War, they wouldn't have won these wars without us, man. But they hid our history. You see? There's a group that came out of New York, they call them the Harlem Hellfighters. They were part of a group of soldiers, U.S. soldiers who were trained in U.S., but they fought in Europe. They couldn't even, the United States wouldn't even let them wear United States uniforms. They had to fight with French uniforms. You see? They were so dangerous that the German soldiers, when the German soldiers saw them, they ran. They said, that's what they call them, the Harlem Hellfighters. They were terrified of black soldiers. We some treacherous people when it comes down to one that actually straight up warfare. And we would never have lost the position in Africa that we have now if we had had better weapons. You see?
Yeah.
We were still going up with spears and bow and arrows against Gatling guns and cannons. You can have all the heart in the world, man, but sooner or later you're going to run out of numbers.
That's true.
And that's basically what happened. But that's the reason why Ethiopia was never colonized.
Okay.
Because the Ethiopian king was smart enough to get modern weapons.
Wow.
You see? So when the Italians came, they kicked their behind so bad, man, that the Italians asked them if they begged them to leave. Can we leave? can we go?
They're begging.
Yeah.
Black power, guys.
Check
You
out.
have to be man.
Check out Ethiopia's record. Here's something else that really surprised me about. Do you know that in Ethiopia during that war, do you know that they made the lions and tigers and bees? They weaponized them and brought them against the army, against the enemy. Yeah, check it out. Lions, tigers, bees. How do you teach a bee to fight? This is who we are. You see?
Wow.
When you look at pictures of Ethiopian soldiers, a lot of times you see them with lions, walking with lions. Because they were part of the army. How do you get lions, man, to fight for you, man? So they're not just out there, the lions weren't just out there jumping on anything that was edible. They were out there looking for enemy soldiers, and that's who they were jumping on. Oh, we're great people, man.
Yes, we are.
We're great people. And that's what they don't want you to know.
Grandpa, second question. Do you think being a man is more about state of mind or just a physical strength?
State of mind.
State of mind. Okay.
State of mind. I mean, knowledge is power. I mean, if it wasn't about the state of mind, then only the big guys would be men. Physically big guys would be men. But that's not how it goes. Look at Haile Selassie. He was a king or ruler of Egypt.
Yeah.
I mean, of Ethiopia. He was a small guy.
Yeah.
You know, look at Elijah Muhammad. Started the leader of the Nation of Islam. He was a small guy. You know, look at Napoleon, white guy, but he was a little guy. You see, it's a mind thing.
Okay.
It's a mental thing.
All right. And then my next question will be: do you think the idea of manhood has changed over time?
Not for the people who understand what manhood is. You see, if you understand the ability or the science or no, men are men. Men have always been men. Well, all what they've done with us was made it so that we weren't men.
Okay.
But they are men. They rule the world. They have families. They run their families. They take care of their families. They protect their women. They build societies, right? They're men. They do what men do.
What's trying to keep us from not being men?
Because what they built their societies on is us not being men. They couldn't come here and take gold and uranium and oil out of the ground if we were being men. We would stop them or make them pay a fair price. You can't go to China and take nothing. You understand? Because they're men. You see?
Yeah.
You don't go to Russia and take nothing. You see? They'll fight you to the death. The same way we did before we were colonized. The original black men who were here when all of this started, most of them were killed. They had to be killed. Because they were men. Anytime you conquer a people, the rule is you kill all the men and you save the women and the children alive. That's how it goes. Even in the Bible, what did they do? When they were looking for why was Jesus on the run? Because they were looking for a male. Why was Moses on the run? Because they were looking for a male. You see?
Yeah.
You have to, and if you want to control it, you have to kill manhood. You have to kill the men. And then because they know the women are going to do whatever is necessary to take care of the children. So they don't have to kill the women, not all of them. Some of them you have to kill. But most of them will go along with whatever the new power structure is. But the men are not going to do that. They'll fight you to the last. Until it just doesn't make sense to just throw your life away, you know what I mean? But for the most part, the older ones are still going to be gotten rid of because they don't want the older ones teaching the younger ones.
Yeah.
So you got a whole group of young men who are going to be taught and trained by the new power structure. Even put in their armies to fight for them.
Papa, do you think history will play a role in getting us back to?
It's a critical role. It's like I was saying earlier, man. We've been put to sleep. Okay, we've been in a coma. We got amnesia. You understand? Now we're waking up. The first thing you have to figure out is who are you? Where are you? Why are you in the situation that you're in? All of that's in your history. You wake up, who am I? This is who you are. This is your mother. This is your father. These are your people. This is your land. You see? You're waking up now. You have to have your history. You're not going to be effective on any level until you know who you are. Knowledge of self is first.
Yeah.
Who am I? What can I do? What have I done? Do I have people? Where are they? You see?
Yeah.
That's what's happening now. You know, we're wanting to know who we are.
Yeah.
Where did we come from? You know, white men did everything they could to bury our history. That's why they burnt down our libraries. They bulldozed down our cities because they didn't want us to know that we had libraries and cities. And even in Kemet now, what are they doing? They're trying to paint the artifacts from white to black, from black to white, so that they can make us think that they were the original Egyptians. Why do you think they shot the noses off of all the Egyptians, Pharaoh, and all the art? Because they don't want to, they know that a black man's nose is a black man's nose. You see what I'm saying? They don't want you to put that together. We're waking up now. We're looking and saying, well, okay, why doesn't the Sphinx have a nose? You know? Now we start to, well, who built the Sphinx? You see, we know to ask those questions before. How long has it been there? You see? So all of these things, man, without your history, man, like I said earlier, Malcolm X said, a man without his history is like a tree without roots. You're not going anywhere. You're not going to survive. You're not living.
Wow.
You're not going to bear fruit.
My next question will be, how do mentorship, culture, and community influence the way a man sees himself?
Well, that's critical as well. Before, we'll say 400 years ago, we had rites of passage. You just didn't wake up one day and say that you're a man. Oh no, the other men say you're a man. You see?
Yeah.
The other men come and they get you and they take you wherever they take you, in the jungle or in the mountainside or wherever they take you, and they teach you and they put you through the paces. They show you everything that other men respect and do and culture. Then they put you through some tests, and when you pass, you're a man. They accept you as a man, and you go back among your people. You are treated no longer like a boy. You are a man. Even your mother has to respect you as a man. You see? Wow. We've lost that. They used to call them rites of passage. And the women had the same thing, had the same kind of thing. Where the women would teach the women, this is what you do, this is how you go, this is how things happen, this is the whole bit. You see, we've lost our culture. When they destroyed our culture, then they destroyed that whole thing that allowed us to be strong. They destroyed the family structure, all of that. See? And the family structure is like the cell of the society, then, because the family feeds into the tribe, and the tribe feeds into the nation. You see, so if you destroy the family, if the family is weak, the nation's weak. You see, and the family is at the root of the family is a man and a woman. Yeah, so until we get back to the point where we are making our women women and our men men, and here right now I have to say that I was taught within the Nation of Islam for years, and that whole program is about making men men and women women. Okay? The men are called FOI, fruit of Islam. In other words, you've gone through a process and now you are the fruit. You can feed. You have a seed. You are basically, you're being a man. The women go through something called Muslim girl training. General civilization course, which is recognizing that we are not civilized. We are then taught to be civilized. So therefore, now you have a family structure. You have a man and a woman who are teaching children, and that's the reason why when people look at it. That's why the Nation of Islam is considered public enemy number one in the U.S. because there's men and women there who are building families and building societies.
Wow.
You see? And it's not that you, and those teachings are applicable to us on a universal level. They're not just for blacks in America or for nations. Those teachings are real. They're principles, like mathematics, like any other science. So yeah, you have to have the ability to teach your young if you want to continue to grow in society.
So Grandpa, my next question will be, what's one lesson about being a man that someone taught you and it stuck with you?
Well, that you cannot be a man without a relationship with God, with the Creator, Allah, you know?
Wow.
That's one of the reasons why we are struggling to be men now, is because that our God has been taken away from us. We've been given some false belief and told that this thing that we're worshiping now is God, when it's not. We've been told that God is out there somewhere, when actually God is who we are. It's a part of us. It's who we are. You see? So you can't enslave a man if he has his God, if he has his DNA intact. I'll look at that way. You see?
Yeah.
They took our culture, our God, our what we call norms, our everything, and gave us theirs, which is backwards. You see? And the thing about it, they know it because a lot of them worship what we worshiped from the beginning, but in their secret organizations. You see? They hide this wisdom from their own people, knowing that it's ours. If you look at the Masons, Elks, Shriners, all of them have what look like Islamic symbols. They have the sword and they have the pyramids. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So why is their culture based on their power structure is based on us? On their dollar, they have a pyramid.
Yeah.
They don't have a cave on it, they have a pyramid. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They've taken our culture and made us believe that our culture was no good, and then gave us some garbage stuff that we swear about now.
Yeah.
You know? But if you deal with their organizations, they deal with what we taught. Napoleon, when he went to Africa, to Northern Africa, he was already a Mason. You see? So these people, man, they belong to these secret organizations that's really only studying our wisdom.
Wow.
China is powerful because they maintain their God. They still worship their God.
Yeah.
India is powerful, they still worship their God. It's only Africa.
Right. Everybody worships their God, except us, because we don't know who our God is anymore.
Wow.
So that's why I said knowledge of self is first, because if you understand knowledge of self, like I said, the first lesson in the Nation of Islam is who is the original man. The original man is the Asiatic black man, maker, owner, cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. The first lesson is that you are God. Once you understand that and try to understand and try to break it down, then you start to come to the knowledge of who you actually are. and what your place is in the universe. That's what we've been missing. You see?
Wow. My next question will be, what habits or values do you think are essential for men to develop?
Well, truthfulness, honesty, bravery, scholarliness, and on a positive level, a search for power, development power, personal power. You see, and knowledge, again, is power.
Yeah.
You see, character building. You know, when you give your word, people know that your word is bond. You see?
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things, that problems that we have as people. Person tells you they're going to do something, they don't do it. See, going back to my Nation of Islam teachings again, in the nation we're taught that your word is your bond. Word is bond. Bond is life. Understand? And the other part of that is that you should give your life before your word should fail. You see? When you give your word, you're supposed to be willing to die to make your word reality. You see? Wow. Word is bond. Not chains, not anybody else's chains, your word.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the old cowboy movies and the old white Western movies, they always, and the white boys are in there, one of the major things they say is, give me your word.
Yeah.
You see? Because they know that. They say, if this man is a man, and he gives me his word, he will die before he let that word not be real.
That's true.
You see? They want your word. They didn't sign contracts with you being able to do a handshake and give your word.
That's your word.
We've lost that. That's character. You got to do what you say you're going to do. You know? If you go, say you find yourself in a combat situation where you say, and you have some soldiers that are with you, and you're in a situation where if your soldiers need to be 100 yards to the left, and your commander tells you to take those men 100 yards to the left, you've accepted that responsibility. You see?
Yeah.
And if you have to be there in an hour, okay, then that's where you're supposed to be with those men, or you're supposed to be dead. You see?
Yeah.
Because when men are doing things, important things, you need to know that you can count on him doing what he says he's going to do. Because your next move depends on whether he keeps his word or not. If he says he's going to be there, regardless of how dangerous it is to get there, if he says he's going to be there and he's not there and you make your move, you're going to get slaughtered. Because he's not in a position to cover you. You see?
Yeah.
This is the reason why when we're building together, if we want to build a society, I have to know that if you say you want to build this, I say I'm going to build this part of it, then okay, we'll build together. If I build my part, you don't build your part. If you build your part, I'm going to build my part. It's not going to work. You see?
Yeah.
This is what we have to get back. That whole being able to give your word. You stand up for your character. You know, and it doesn't matter whether you're hurt or not. You see, it doesn't matter whether you're hurt or not. See, we have to learn how to stop being wusses. We have to learn how to play what I call play hurt. You ever watch American football?
Not really.
Well, in American football, they have what they call a quarterback. All right, his job is to throw the ball accurately to the place where the play is designed for the ball to go. You see? Now, to prevent him from doing that, there's like 4, maybe 300-pound guys, 450-pound guys who are fast, okay? Whose job it is to stop him from throwing that ball. You see? Now, after about the first 15 minutes of the game, he's hurt. Because some of those guys are going to get through.
Yeah.
And he's going to wind up on the ground 2 or 3 times. When you think a guy 350 pounds coming at you dead on a dead run, knock you on the behind, you are hurt. You see?
Yeah.
But even though he's hurt, he still has to finish that game and be accurate. His accuracy cannot diminish, or else he's ineffective. He's not a good quarterback. He's not a good leader if he can't play hurt. You see? We have to learn how to play hurt. Just because your girl left you, or just because you wound up in a bad situation, for whatever reason, you cannot allow that to diminish your accuracy and to stop you from achieving your goals. You see?
Yeah.
You have to learn how to play hurt. You see? You'll get over it. You know?
Yeah.
You'll survive. You know? That's just how it is, man. That's how it is. If you're going to be successful at anything, there's going to be some downtime. There's going to be some times when you just hurt or feeling bad or whatever, you know. But if you want to make your thing happen, if you want to maintain that straight arrow, man, and reach your goal, you're going to have to be able to play hurt. That's all part of being a man. You know, children can say, "Oh, I hurt my leg. I can't." You know, okay, he's a child. You know, a female, you can do let her buffalo too. You know. You know, I hurt my arm or I got punched in my stomach, you know, okay, all right, you know, I got this, you know. You got to get punched in your stomach, upside your head, get your arm half hanging on your ass, better not quit. You understand? As long as you're able, as long as there's a possibility for you to make that thing happen, you have to keep going.
Yeah.
You see,
Wow.
the excuses is for everybody else, not for the men. You see?
And that makes us men.
Exactly. That attitude.
Wow.
That attitude. Now, that's not to say that a lot of women don't have that attitude too. But what I'm saying is that for the most part, that's the attitude that you are expected to have.
Wow. All right. So I think that would just be it. Because my next question was going to be, what advice do you have for men? But we already have it now. You need to still play, even though you hurt.
Yeah.
Still keep playing, still keep going.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. See, and what we have to understand too is that the hurt that we want to get these days is not necessarily, and usually is not physical.
Yeah.
It's going to be an emotional hurt. You see?
Yeah.
It's going to be a hurt that's in your chest, you know, that's in your mind. You know, you have to overcome that. And the only way to really overcome that is you got to function on a spiritual level. You see? There's I have the book, I forget exactly what the name of it is, but in there they were talking about, they were saying that when a general gets orders to go into combat, he forgets his family, okay? And he said, but then on the day of combat, he forgets not only his family, he forgets his body. In other words, when he's in combat, He's not concerned about losing his body. He's not concerned about losing his life. He's focused. A soldier on the battlefield is not thinking about being killed. Your adrenaline is so high at that point that you are focused 100% on your objectives. You see, these are states of mind. You see, these are states of mind, man. When you see obstacles, man, and you say, "Oh well, we got to go and deal with this situation," knowing that you may not survive, but that can't be a deterrent. You see?
Okay.
Men are not deterred by the fact that you may not survive. I mean, you may not survive going home today. So being surviving is not an issue. And the only thing that you are guaranteed in this whole life is that you're going to die. That's the only thing you're guaranteed.
Oh, sure.
You just don't know when, you don't know how.
It's definitely going to happen.
That's the only thing that's going to happen, that you know is going to happen. You may not get rich, you may not be poor, whatever it is, but you know at some point you're going to die. So that's not even something that you can think about. That's a given. You see?
Yeah.
What you're trying to work out is how you want to live and live better. And raise yourself up. So a lot of times, if it comes to something, you don't throw away your life in a stupid situation. But if it comes down to a life or death situation, that you have to keep moving. You got to do what you got to do. Is it?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Grandpa.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Like I said, I hope that helps.
Thank you so much.
I hope it helps.